Yeah, there it is. Okay. Hi.
Okay.
Hey, it's good to see you again, buddy.
You too. Hey, how are you?
Welcome to Trudging Along.
Trudging Along. This is Trudging Along. This is where we just fucking talk about stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm Trev,
I'm David.
and we're just existing.
Yeah, this is just the planet Earth.
Yeah, it seems to be getting worse and worse lately.
It's getting a lot worse. I have a lot of issues
Do you?
that I could talk about. Yeah.
Okay, fire off. I have some too, so you go ahead. Ladies first.
Okay, ladies first. So, okay, right away. You know what? I'm going to get in it right away. I'm going to get right to the meat.
Get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah, so this morning I took my compost down to the compost.
Oh, you compost.
I do. Well,
yeah, you're a conscientious person. I like that.
Yeah. Anyways, I open up the bin, and before you open up the bin, there's a giant fucking sign that says no plastic bags in the compost bin.
Okay, sure.
Pretty cut and dry.
Because you can't compost those.
No,
They're going to be around for decades, if not centuries.
Yes, so they don't want that in the compost heap, and it's massive. It's not a small sign. You're literally looking right at it before you open the lid.
Yeah.
And I open the lid, and there's not one, not two, not three, but 4 separate plastic garbage bags full of compost in the bin.
And that's one of the things for you that makes you redline pretty quick.
Oh, because I just don't get it. Like, what? You physically... No, I'm sure the people that have done that have lived in that building for some period of time.
Yeah.
They physically put their food scraps in a plastic bag, brought it down to the fucking garbage room, opened the lids, looking at the sign, and putting their plastic bag. They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and like...
Why even bother? Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
One last thing. Why even bother? Just throw it in the fucking garbage then.
Why go through the appearance of actually caring when you clearly don't? Yeah, and here's my thing. Like, let's give someone the benefit of the doubt. They've never composted before in their life, right?
But it still says no plastic bags.
Exactly.
So are you just trying to be an asshole?
If you don't know what composting is, then why are you separating it all into a bag, first of all?
They must know, because they're physically doing it in their apartment.
Exactly. And then you get down there, and like that's another thing. If you're composting, you might not understand what it is. You might just go, oh, that's where I put all these scraps in a bag. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Sure. Then you get down there, though, and there's a fucking sign that says, hey, guys, no plastic in here. Like, it's like a
massive sign. And it says, it's written, and there's a fucking picture that shows a plastic bag
with like
then an X through it, a red X through it.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I don't understand how those kinds of people dress themselves in the morning.
I don't.
Because you clearly can read, because you're in an apartment building. So I'm assuming that without the care of an aide, you were able to get a place, whether you rent or bought it, and now you're living there. And you're obviously an adult because you can't be a child living there. So how is it that you've moved through life this far, being able to, I'm assuming, doing basic things like, reading and living amongst other people, and yet you just fall short in this area?
Yeah. If you're that dumb and inconsiderate, just throw all your trash and recycling into the big bin.
Yeah. So I think people need to be made an example of it.
110%. There should be a video camera in there, and they should fucking have a flat screen in the lobby and show footage of the morons.
Yeah, exactly. And like just a bit of shame. You know what you start off by doing? That's a great idea. You start off by showing someone, you blur out their face. Yeah. Right? And then it just plays on a loop. So the person knows it's them, but maybe no one else does. So maybe they smarten up. And then if they do it again, you put them on blast.
Or the building finds out what actual apartment they're in, kick their door open at 3 a.m. and cut off their genitals.
Yes. Okay, that might be step 3. I think step 2, between the TV and the genital mutilation, could be taking the plastic bag of compost, kicking their door in, and just dumping it all on the ground.
The floor, And you know what I did?
And they slip on a banana peel and break their neck.
I took the fucking bags out and threw them into the fucking
I've been at your place many a time, and I've witnessed this myself. And you redline real quick, and then you fix the problem.
And sometimes the other, so there's plastic and cardboard too.
Yeah.
Some fuckers just come in and throw their actual garbage, like the garbage bags, just into the room.
Yeah, I've seen that too. We go in there and there's just a bag of garbage on the ground.
It's like, what, someone else is going to do that for you? Like, you're that big of a fuckhead?
Yeah, it's my problem that, it kind of permeates everything. It's just a lot of people all of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, but gradually over time, have just gone like, that's not my problem, fuck it. But then you make it someone else's problem, and then you force us to find you, kick your door down, and at the very least, lay out your compost on your ground.
Or cut off your penis.
Or, we go straight to genital mutilation. Yeah, I think we've lost shame. Somewhere along the line, people have forgotten.
Accountability's gone, too.
Yeah, but I think that goes hand in hand with shame. We need to shame more people. Shame should be a thing again.
But it wasn't like that. When I've lived in like 5 apartment buildings.
Yeah.
8 years ago, I never saw that in garbage rooms.
Is it a different area of town?
Yeah. Okay.
Could that be I'm trying to think.
Maybe it is. Maybe downtown people know more because they are all apartment dwellers.
Okay, yeah, they're apartment dwellers. Maybe, I don't know. Also, maybe it's just like business class people are just more on top of shit sometimes. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but remember that apartment, that Corette Lofts that I lived in? I can't believe
Yeah, by Blarney Stone.
That garbage room was just fucking by the book. I think because the guy gave people shit.
That guy that ran the lobby, though, he was militant.
Oh, yeah. So I think he probably watched people put the garbage in the room. And then it was spotless.
The guy at your latest building, I want to say new because you've been there a while.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He's got a heart of gold, but
But that's the problem, right?
He doesn't get upset about anything.
Spare the rod.
Yeah.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. So that's it. Like, I would rather someone militant who might not be the most pleasant guy to talk to, but he gets shit done.
Well, you remember him? Sometimes when you came into the lobby and said hi, he'd just stare into space.
Yeah. Also, he would always engage with you, and I would try to engage with him, and he treated me like a leper.
Yeah.
I had an instance where I wanted someone shamed quite badly, actually. I was in the hospital last week.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I was in the hospital. I'm fine, allegedly. I mean, we're all dying, so act accordingly. But
you're getting a checkup on the HIV?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'll go into it. I got back from visiting my brother, which was awesome. I don't love I visited him in Nanaimo, and so I had to take a ferry. I don't love the ferry.
Oh, that Nanaimo ferry is better than the Victoria one.
It's not bad. I'll tell you what, it's not bad. I was dreading it. My expectations were that it was going to be shit. Not too bad. Wasn't too busy.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of did their own thing. It was great,
actually. The Victoria ferry's twice as long, so that's why.
I didn't realize they had those little cubicles like they do in libraries.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Plugins and stuff. So I just set up shop there. It was great.
Yeah, because you're on the bigger ferry.
Here's the thing about the ferry, though, that I hadn't been on one. I drove my first ferry maybe 4 or 5 years after I moved here.
Did you have a beer on the ferry?
I didn't. No, I didn't have a beer.
That's bullshit.
But this kind of goes hand in hand. You recommended I get a white spot burger on the ferry. You're like, there's nothing like it.
Oh, it's so good on the ferry.
Truly, there's nothing like it in that it almost killed me. That was the most foul burger I've ever had in my life.
Usually, it's very good.
You hyped it up for me, and I had it the first ferry ride. I'll never have it again. It was disgusting.
Well, because the people that work there are making those burgers 12 hours a day.
Yeah, well, I think that maybe the 12-hour shifts making burgers, they kind of just check out because that thing was slop on in between a bun.
Oh, I've never had a bad white spot burger.
That's not true. You went on the ferry after I said that.
I was definitely hungover. I was shaking. I was so hungover.
Was that when we went and saw a banner? Was that time or was that a different time?
Yeah, remember I opened for him.
Yeah.
Comedy special.
And then you got a white spot burger with me that time coming back.
Fuck.
It was foul.
I puked in the bathroom. I puked on the ferry.
That's the hangover thing, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get back from seeing my brother, and I get home. I stopped off at Costco on the way, which was a mistake. Costco on a Sunday afternoon was horrendous. That's another thing. People with their carts in Costco.
Zero accountability.
Why?
No self-awareness.
Why? Yeah, there's other people around you. What are you doing? What the fuck? Just stay in your fucking lane. And then move off to the side if you're going to be browsing. Instead, you're going to park it fucking perpendicular to the aisle.
Or you're walking behind them and they just stop.
Oh, this happened to me. I was going around a corner and a guy was powering, and then he stopped, and then my cart clipped the back of his shoe.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me and just held up his hand like that.
Yeah, what does that
stop.
mean?
And I go,
you're not in charge of this fucking place.
I'm so fucking sorry. I didn't see your blinker sign. What do you?
Also fuck yourself.
Anyways, I wasn't in a great mood, so I came back home, and then my tummy started to hurt.
Your tummy?
Yeah, not in a normal way. Not in I've eaten too much, or I gotta get this out of me.
We're talking pain.
It was It started around 3. Deanna, my wife, was at work. She was working till 6 p.m. that day, and I'm not a big hospital guy. No. I don't go in unless I absolutely have to. And after about an hour and a half, I was like, this feels like something else. And it started to get to the point where I couldn't stand up straight. It was hurting so much.
Yeah, you're keeled over?
Yeah. So I text her and I go, you know what? I think I got to go into the hospital. So I get dressed. I go out to the driveway. I almost puke on the driveway, but not from being nauseous, from the pain.
Yeah.
So you ever done that thing? This is pretty gross. You ever done that thing where you puke, you force it back down?
Yeah.
I did that. I was like, I'm not puking on the driveway.
Yeah, and you get that really bad acid taste.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing I did right before I went, a couple hours leading up to it.
You jerked off to a briefcase.
There's no way I could have mustered up the courage to jerk off. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
That was just too painful. I can't even stand up straight. I think my dick wouldn't have worked.
Ugh.
So then I start Googling. Well, actually, I start using ChatGPT. I'm paying for ChatGPT now, and I can't even begin to tell you how much I'm utilizing it in every aspect of my life. It's crazy.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that thing that you looked up stuff for me with it. I'd never seen it before. I never used it.
Yeah, it's ChatGPT.
Yeah, I fucking never used it.
We've used it before. I've shown it to you a couple times.
No, that was the only time I've ever seen it.
What about that? Remember we were at Mate Comedy?
Yeah.
And I used it for that joke contest and it won.
No.
You weren't. Oh, sorry, you weren't there that night. Never mind.
Are you making this up?
No, I swear to God, it was right when it first came out, and they had a joke competition, and best joke got like a pitcher of beer or something like that. And there were a bunch of accountants or bank workers or something that were there.
Oh, and you
and I used ChatGPT to write a joke about them, and then I said make it darker.
Oh,
and then
I wasn't there for that.
I went up and I read it out, and it won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was disturbing.
And then we looked up how to get dried cum out of hair.
No, I think that's probably in yours. It's definitely not in my.
I don't have it downloaded. Do you have to download that?
Mm-hmm. You can use it on a browser, but I have it downloaded. It's integrated. I'm all for AI takeover. Like, just do it. Like, I don't care. There's no point fighting it, man.
What are you talking about? I'm not all for when it takes people's jobs away.
Look, I like Shawshank Redemption, right? But when he's in prison and he's fighting back, I'm like, it's going to happen either way. Just let it happen and be done with it. Do you know what I mean?
What? When he gets gang raped?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but like, I'm just like, why? You know, if I'm going to resist, it's going to be worse, right? That's what
he would fight them off sometimes. Sometimes he succeeded.
I think the first time I would try to fight, but then afterwards I'd be like, all right, here we go again. Like, let's just, why make it a 20-minute or do you want it to be 5?
Remember when he fights back and the main guy goes, honey, hush.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think I blocked that from my memory.
Yeah, it's fucking disturbing.
Fuck. That movie didn't do well in theaters, by the way. It found life after the fact. Anyways, we're getting derailed here.
What do you mean? You got nominated for like fucking 8 Oscars?
I'm at box office money-wise.
Oh.
The only thing that studios care about, especially now. Anyways. So I get myself to the hospital. I park in front of a merge. Deanna comes out and parks the car for me. I go in. I wait in line. Not too bad, by the way. All of these things, like I was like, there's obviously problems with every healthcare system across the world, but this one's for me not too bad.
There when they have a fucking cold.
Oh, we're gonna get there, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
So I get in line, tell them my symptoms, go and sit. I end up after a little while getting into a room. I'm in a room, and I'm laying on a bed, and I'm just kind of like in a fetal position because it hurts. It hurts so bad.
That's hot.
And then I'm listening to other people outside the room, and there's a doctor explaining to a gentleman. He doesn't speak English, so they have like an interpreter there.
Cool.
And then she says to him, I hear her say, "Sir, you have a cold. There's nothing I can do for you here." And then they go back and forth a bit. She's like, "Take a couple Tylenol and go home. And then if you get worse, you could come back, but there's nothing." And I'm thinking to myself, like wait times are always one of the biggest issues with our healthcare system.
How stupid are you?
This is an adult male, by the way, like in his 40s.
That's what I mean. Like if you have a cold, you just be like, "Oh, I've got a cold."
Like going back to the compost people, it's just like, how did you get through life to this
shoes?
point? Like,
how did you put your shoes on?
Yeah, how did you you got to the hospital, right? You got here. So how did you get here? I'm assuming that you have just a base level, just a smidge of critical thinking skills.
Yeah, you looked up the address.
Exactly, somehow, right? You called an Uber or whatever. You know how to do some things, or at least how to find out about some things. This guy has a cold, and I'm thinking to myself,
how old was the man?
Like in his 40s.
Jesus.
And I'm thinking to myself, why are you here? Like this is what's causing problems.
I can understand if you're like 75, 80, and you're like worried that your cold was going to
and like maybe
kill you.
it's like pain in your chest, like pneumonia or something.
But if you're in your 40s and you're coming for a cold, just jump into a volcano.
I got 2 thoughts. One, if the cold's going to take you out, fucking let it. Like if you're 40 and you can't, and like I'm talking about no pre-existing conditions, something like that. I'm just saying you're 40 years old and a cold's going to take you out. That's just fucking Darwinism. Second of all, though, I'm going, well, wait times here, not like at that hospital specifically, but across
usually
Canada.
Sunday at that time would be busy.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I don't know. Like there was like a family but ahead of me in line getting checked in. They had like a 1 or 2 year old. I'm like, yeah, maybe the 1 year old has a cold. But as as a new parent, I completely understand you going and getting checked. Like totally, that makes sense to me. If you're 40 years old
and you're sitting there,
like this was what I was thinking: either ride it out at home and die, or going back to the shame, or potentially your option. We bring this guy out into the waiting room,
put him out of his misery,
and we just go, this gentleman came here, tied up our time with a cold, and then you just shoot him in the head. And then he drops down.
And 5 people get up and leave.
And the janitor comes and just like pushes him aside. And then they go, does anyone else think they have a cold?
Yeah.
And then, yes, 5 people get up and leave. Wait time solved. And like I just think, I think that would solve a lot of people's problems, including the guy with the cold. Like
for me, remember when I had that emergency surgery because my intestines tied in a knot?
Yeah, that was, so yeah, that's like when I was Googling stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I was remembering when that happened to you. And I'm like, do I have to go for surgery?
Yeah, do you have a bowel obstruction?
Yeah.
They told me it was a 4.5 hour wait, and I was looking in the waiting room, and there was just like guys with like ice on their wrist.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's a jerk off injury, by the way.
Yeah, I'm literally dying. I couldn't even I was puking in front of the lady while she was taking my information.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
Isn't this enough? And I told you I had to walk out into the ambulance bay.
Yeah, because you were just puking so much.
I couldn't stop puking. And then an ambulance driver saw me, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't think I am." And he's like,
I have a cold.
He's like, "They're making you wait?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Here, get on my gurney." And then I went on his gurney, and he pushed me to the back.
What a beauty! And then you just bypassed the guy with the ice on his wrist, and you just give him a thumbs up.
But I'm like, yeah, like I like people that are like actually need an emergency. They still don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't think it's they don't give a fuck. I think that it's just they triage based on immediacy. If you're puking, is there blood in your puke? No. Okay. Well, you're gonna wait a bit.
Yeah.
And because you could like food poisoning, right? People.
But I was like vindicated. I was so vindicated when all the nurses were like, "Oh, okay." And then I was sitting there, and then I had the CT scan. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh shit," and they're all like, "Oh, yeah, you were telling the truth."
We almost missed one.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm listening to this guy. Anyways, they hooked me up to. Speaking of puking, by the way, I don't know if you got this cool thing I got. But they have these ingenious puke bags at the hospital.
Oh, I got that. Yeah.
It's got like a plastic.
Yeah.
A white plastic top and then a long blue bag.
Like the shit, like cat shit bags.
Like the cat litter things I have, or like what you'd use to maybe check a horse's prostate.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Ingenious.
I felt so bad for the nurse because she's like, "Don't puke on me."
Yeah. A lot of the nurses don't like puke.
Why not?
Well, no, but it's just like the sound of it. I guess I just feel like you might get desensitized.
Pretty sure I wouldn't want a person puking on me.
No. Obviously, you don't want people's fluids on you unless you're into that kind of thing. And some fluids, sure. But
yeah.
they hooked me up to some pain meds before my CT scan. And I get in a wheelchair to go to my CT scan. I was like, oh, God. And I just empty the contents of my stomach into one of these blue things.
Hell yeah.
Thankfully, no blood, because that's what I was worried about through all of my chat GPT research.
Oh, like an ulcer.
Yes, this is what I thought I had. I thought I had potentially an ulcer. They asked me when I came in, like, are you stressed? And I was like, yeah, kind of. I mean, isn't everyone? But sure.
Yeah.
So then I go get my CT scan, and that's totally fine. Here's the thing about the CT scan. Is they're like, hey, we're going to need you to drop your pants down a bit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So we're going to hold up a sheet. I was like, do you need me to drop my boxers? They were like, no. I was like, I can just, like, it wasn't like down to my knees. It was just a bit, but I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like, they were like, it was just a little awkward for them holding the sheet, like the positioning of it. I was like,
did you say, do you want to have a peek at my hog?
You know what? This is exactly why they held up a sheet, I bet. Because someone like you comes in and you go like, oh, you're trying to peek into the sheets here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You've wrecked it.
Have a look at my snake.
You've wrecked it for everyone. So I got the CT scan, comes back fine. And then they go, okay, so we're going to send you home with some anti-nausea meds and some antacid.
Yeah.
Some like high-end antacid meds. And then they said, how often do you drink? I said about once a day. It was okay. Just like lay off the alcohol, I guess. I was like, all right. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, you
should have said no.
Well, I
looked him right in the face and said no.
I kind of did. I was like, I said, for how long? She goes, I don't know. I said, well, like a week? Because we had a beer me to film.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I was like, okay, well, this isn't helpful. So I'm talking to Watson. I named my chat GPT Watson.
Oh, nice.
And Watson was listing all of these things I shouldn't have. Shouldn't have like carbonated beverages, like a bunch of acidic things. So then I ran it by the doc. I said, hey, what about ginger ale? And then she goes, well, try it. And if it makes it worse, don't have it anymore. And I was like, well, isn't it the same as fucking alcohol? Yeah. I guess alcohol, like, there's more things. It's not just carbonated beverage, but still. So I was racking my brain trying to figure out what had happened. Because, again, I'd come back from a night with my brother. We got after it, but nothing crazy. We polished off a third of a bottle of Bullet Bourbon and then, like...
oh, yeah, that's nothing crazy.
10 beers each. Yeah, but over the course of, like, 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's not like 6 to midnight here.
10 beers and a bottle of bourbon.
Each-ish. From like 2 p.m. to like 1 a.m. Like 11 hours.
That's regular stuff.
Well, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, they're listing all these things. Like I'm doing the Zins, the nicotine, that's the coffee. That's not good. All can upset your tummy. And so I spent the next few days just trying to figure it out. I went cold turkey. I didn't have anything to drink for 48 hours.
Yeah, I witnessed some of it.
I didn't have any coffee. Nothing. It was just like water, tea. It was boring as hell. No Zins, nothing.
It was weird to see.
It was, because you saw the light leave my eyes a bit.
Yeah, what's the point?
Well, yeah.
Might as well stay in bed.
Might as well cash it in.
Yeah.
So then I'm racking my brain as to what had changed. And it hit me a few days later. I, over Christmas, didn't want to get sick. Obviously, no one does. And then I was going to Mexico. I went to Mexico at the end of January, and I didn't want to get sick for that. And, I'm bartending, and everyone around me is hacking up along, and they're coming to work, and they're going, oh, my God, I feel so sick right now. I shouldn't be here. I'm like, yeah, you really fucking shouldn't be here. So I was taking every single day for like 5 or 6 weeks. I was taking Energy.
Idiot.
See, you say idiot and fair because obviously a problem.
You're supposed to take like once or twice when you feel like you're going to get sick.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I understand that now. But at the time, I just thought it was like crushed up Flintstone vitamins. I just thought I was giving myself a bit of a vitamin kick.
No.
Yeah. So I run the Energy thing by Watson, and Watson goes, "Oh yeah, that'll do it," basically. And then Deanna checks the packet, and it's like, "Do not take for longer than 7 days straight. Do not take if you have any gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah. Consult
a doctor if you're pregnant." I was like, "Okay."
Same
cool.
with any other like Maalox. Like my brother or older brother developed an ulcer because he drank too much Maalox and took too many Tums.
Yeah. Well, I just did it with the Energy. So I obviously I hadn't had any Energy since that Sunday. I had the day before my brother's place. I got off the ferry. I was like, oh, I got to make sure I'm boosting my immune system.
That's fucking idiot.
Okay, you say an idiot. Here's what to me an idiot is someone that knows something and does it anyways.
You didn't know, but you also
I
already
was just ignorant.
You already take a multivitamin powder too.
Yeah, I take Athletic Greens AG1. Not sponsored by this podcast because we're not nearly
that also already has 500 milligrams of vitamin C in it.
See, and this is where I should have looped you in because one of the things that you are very anal about is vitamins, multivitamins, what's in it. Like,
don't you read the thing?
You're like a chemist. No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Why would I for Energy? Like if I got it from a doctor or it was a prescription, I would read it. But something over the counter, I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever.
There's 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in an Energy package, and that's like extreme. But you're taking that so you don't get sick.
Yeah, and I was taking it on an empty stomach. Like my mornings consisted of going to work, having a coffee, having an Energy, and popping a Zyn. That was my morning.
You were taking 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C a day.
Yeah,
that's fucked.
Clearly, I'm surprised it took that long.
Cancer patients take that.
Okay, well, why? When they upset their stomachs?
When they're dying.
Why? If you're dying, then why are you taking?
To keep your immune system up.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't get sick up until that I had to go to the hospital. So I mean, it kind of worked. But yeah, I'm off the Energy now, and that was a fun time. But I talked to my doctor on Thursday about it, and I ran by my hypothesis for him, and he was like, "That sounds about right." He's like, "Don't change up anything but the Energy for now, just to and that's kind of what I thought. I was like, let's rule out one thing at a time."
So he said, "Get back to booze and coffee and Zyns."
He didn't say it; it was over the phone, but I could hear the twinkle in his eye.
Yeah.
I could hear it. He's a great guy. Great guy.
I told you the surgeon that did my surgery that I told you what he said, right?
I think he did, but remind me.
Well, because they removed a foot of my lower intestine.
Which is crazy to me that they can remove a foot and it's still...
Well, there's so much. He said that's not even a lot.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Like, how much... How much large intestine does one have?
Oh, like...
Pull out your phone. Google it.
Like hundreds of feet?
Okay. It's not...
I'm not joking.
It's not hundreds of feet.
Hey, Siri.
Oh, God.
How much lower intestine do you have?
I thought you said large intestine.
No, I think it's lower. What's the below? Is that large or lower?
I'm guessing it's lower. Isn't it large and small?
Oh, I don't know.
Watson, if I didn't have my phone over there and I was asking Watson, he'd pull it up like that.
Okay.
He's a genius.
How?
Let me guess. Large intestine, I'm going to say you have 23 feet.
16 feet.
Damn it. So they pulled out over half your large intestine?
1 foot? That's not a lot.
12 inches?
Yeah.
Wait. I thought they pulled out...
There's 16 feet.
And they pulled out 1 foot.
1 foot.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Ask, or Google, don't ask Siri. Google how much lower intestine can be removed before it's a problem.
Okay.
God, I hope it's 6 inches.
Jesus.
You know how many times I've said that to a guy? Is this like a Pandora's box that you don't want to open, though?
No. I don't care. No, sorry, I'm getting to it. So I said...
Wait. Finish the Google search.
Oh, more than 3 feet.
Oh, you're perfect. You still got 2 feet to play with.
Yeah.
That's great. And it was because of a bowel obstruction?
Bowel obstruction.
How did that happen, did they say? Just happens?
No, from damage to the intestine.
How did you get damage?
From a hernia operation I had.
Oh, that's right. So wait, is it the surgeon's fault? The hernia operation?
Yeah, it was the surgeon's fault, yeah. He was supposed to make sure he didn't nick my intestine. When
Can you sue for that?
Well,
I'm such an asshole. What a litigious society.
No, it's a they say that's a common side effect of umbilical hernia surgery.
It'd be in the thing that you signed.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyways, I was terrified that he's going to be like, you can't drink anymore, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, so because I've had this surgery, this was the actual surgeon, this was the follow-up visit like a month later.
So this is the surgeon that removed the large intestine.
Surgery, yeah. And he's a young guy. And I'm like, I'm really worried to ask you, so do I have to like stop drinking and like doing anything? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because of the surgery. And he goes, no. And I go, really?
He hands you a bottle of scotch.
No, and he goes to me, yeah, drink all the time. I swear to God, that's what he said.
You do get mixed messages from hearing other people's experiences and then your own. But I get it. I mean, there's billions of people on the planet. Everyone's slightly different. That's another place where AI I think is going to be really helpful, is just specifically targeting individuals based on their medical history, what's going to work best for them and not.
Yeah, but he said it like I was crazy for asking him.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a normal question. I got stomach surgery.
I'm pretty sure it sounds like this surgeon just went through a violent divorce.
No, he's like heartthrob young guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, yeah. He looked like Dr. McSteamy.
Really?
Yeah.
McSteamy is Eric Dane, right?
Yeah, and he was also a major in the Canadian Army.
Your doctor or Eric Dane?
No, the doctor.
He was a major in the Army?
He did triage surgeries in the actual war
like
zone.
MASH?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
how'd you luck out with that guy?
Because I had to get the emergency surgery and he was the head of...
Right.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Head of surgery?
No, head of like the head of triage. Sorry, head of triage. What the fuck am I saying?
Okay.
They have triage surgeons at the hospital.
Hell yeah. You lucked out with a major in the Army that was a heartthrob.
And then
was pro-drinking.
Yeah. And then weeks later...
Did she get his card?
No. Oh, yeah. No, I have a weeks later, there's a huge write-up about him in the Vancouver Sun.
Oh, for what? Telling people to drink when they shouldn't?
No. His brother...
He had his license revoked?
His brother also is a doctor in the Army. So he has 3 brothers in the Army. Another one's a doctor, but one was killed in action.
Oh my God. Saving Private Ryan.
I know. I'll show you the article. It's on my table.
Why? So you beat off to it?
No, I have a stack of shit that I just don't do anything
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not going to be able to find that article.
I found it the other day.
You need a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
You really should get a filing cabinet. Dave's got one of those...
It's your table.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Didn't we get that? Didn't we buy it together?
Oh, no, we bought that, yes, for the beer me when Cody moved out, and we put it in the spare bedroom.
Because I have that table.
Yeah, no, we bought it.
I have it here.
We bought it online. It came in the mail.
That table did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Anyway, it's one of those plastic, like...
That folds out.
Folding tables. It's like 10 feet long.
You'd have it at a kid's birthday party.
And you just use it as like...
it's all the shit that I get.
Like people have a junk drawer at home, and it's just kind of filled with all the stuff that you don't know where to put it. It's a junk table, and there's just everything on there.
Like mail from like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I gotta sort.
I never know what to keep for mail.
That's what I mean. Half of it's stuff that like tax stuff. So I thought.
And then I think we get caught up in the old school thinking of like, oh, you got to make sure you redact all your personal information on.
You're supposed to keep important documents for 7 years, yeah.
Right?
5 to 7 years.
I feel like no one's dumpster diving for your information now. They're just opening up a laptop halfway across the world and stealing it all that way.
I think it's for if something happens to you, like so you can have evidence.
Okay. Well, here I sold some. So this is another thing. I was supposed to go to Bare Naked Ladies a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
On Valentine's Day, I had tickets. They were playing at the Richmond.
Oh yeah. Well, how come you didn't go again?
My wife was deathly ill.
Oh yeah.
She'd gone out the night before, and she'd gone to fuck them, Tap and Barrel in Brentwood. I'm gonna fucking.
Wait, you're gonna hide the name of a fucking restaurant?
Well, I'm gonna put them on blast here. And then she got some food there. Now my wife's celiac, so she can't have any gluten. So she ordered gluten-free stuff, and it's funny. Well, not funny, but funny to me. She came home from the hangout, and she goes, it's like they were so good about the gluten-free stuff. They brought it out separately. They made sure da. Well, like I wake up at 2 a.m. and she's puking her brains out because she got glutened.
Yeah. Also, they're not very good with their food or service.
Yeah, no, Tap and Barrel?
Yeah.
Not a big fan.
The one in where I live is terrible.
Yeah, not a big fan. I don't like much of their menu for food.
No, and they have terrible beer selection too.
Here's the thing I like. They have Guinness on tap, and their breakfast. If you get there at like 11:30 a.m. to do some day drinking.
Oh, cool.
They got a decent breakfast. They got some eggs, some bacon. It's pretty hard to fuck it up, bit of toast.
Yeah, their regular menu is bad though.
Yeah, not a huge fan.
Everyone talks about it.
Yeah, she's puking all night. So then I go to work on Friday, and I'm messaging her throughout the day, being like, "Oh, how you feeling?" She goes, "Oh, well, I'm not feeling great, but worst case scenario, you should go yourself to the concert." And I got home. It was Valentine's Day, by the way.
Oh.
So I get home on Valentine's Day. Now, I'm not a big Valentine's Day guy. I think it's kind of bullshit. I we were talking about this with Randy Newmeyer. She likes Valentine's Day because of all of the accoutrement, all the
it's fun aesthetic. For that. They make it fun.
Yeah, you can get some kind of fun heart stuff,
cards and all the candies,
like the seasonal stuff you can get. I don't like it because it feels very contrived. It feels like we're forced into having to express love for people, friend, romantic, whatever, because they've told us to on that day. And then they also jack up the prices of everything on that day.
Yeah.
So kind of go fuck yourself.
Because nothing's happening. It's a created event because during that time of year, nothing's going on.
Yeah. All these retailers are trying to recoup from Christmas because no one's bought anything in January.
There's such a lull until spring.
Yeah. I guess what's the next big one?
Easter?
Fuck no. Easter?
Easter's big? All the shit they sell?
Yeah, but who buys it?
Everybody.
You can get mini eggs year round now. I guess Cadbury cream eggs. What else?
Easter's a big weekend. That's like the next
for
big...
buying stuff, though?
Yeah.
No.
Then nothing?
You got St. Patrick's Day in March. I would say that's nothing. You got Easter in April. That's not much. And then I guess May, everyone starts buying shit for the summer. Right?
Wait. Yeah. St. Patrick's Day, people, there's decorations and shit going on for that, too.
Yeah. I just, you know what pisses me off? When I get in line at Blarney Stone every St. Patrick's Day at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there with about 12 to 20 other people, and they have these ridiculous massive hats on, sashes, shamrocks.
Because they want to they enjoy the experience.
I think they just enjoy everyone looking at them. They enjoy like being a spectacle. They enjoy,
of course, they do,
being the center of attention, or at least vying for it.
That's why those rugby sevens are out. That was on this weekend. Where all the people, you're supposed to dress up in any costume you want,
like a shark suit.
Yeah, or banana. There's I saw bananas everywhere.
What's the story? If there's multiple bananas, there's got to be a story behind that.
No, it's you have to go to the. They have a designated day where you have to dress up.
Is it because rugby's not super popular? So
they're making an event out of it.
Okay, I get it.
So everybody dresses up as whatever they want.
But I'm already paying for rugby tickets. I don't want to be paying for a fucking costume.
Yeah, but I'm not joking. Literally everyone is in costume.
Okay.
And it's like Halloween. It's any costume, not a specific one.
Yeah, well, it just annoys me. You get standing in line with all these people that are just...
It's a look at me festival.
Yeah, it's okay.
Who
whatever.
can get the best costume?
Anyways, I get home from work on Valentine's Day, and Deanna's still not well. She goes, "You go yourself to the concert." I was just like, you know what? We just saw them in September. You were at that show.
Yeah, that was a great show.
That was the best concert. I've been to Bare Naked Ladies 7 or 8 times. That was the best one.
Venue was good too. Not too big of it was an intimate venue.
And we were second row.
Yeah.
And then I got shit on for standing up. And then Ed Robertson, the lead singer,
said, "Why isn't everybody standing?"
Well, the guy behind me was like, "Sit down, buddy." And then the security guy came over, and then Ed Robertson was like, "Why are you telling this guy to or, no, he said to me, "You're standing up and everyone else around you is sitting down. That might annoy some people." And then the guy behind me that asked me to sit down started clapping. And then the security guy came over to tell me to sit down.
Yeah.
And then Ed Robertson was like, no, I'm not saying that he should sit down. I'm saying everyone else should stand up.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, by the way, I was standing because I had crippling back pain.
Yeah.
I had to take some serious painkillers.
Everyone was standing by the end, yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end, he tossed me a drumstick. I got the drumstick.
Yeah.
And so...
not like the food one.
No. It wasn't a turkey leg.
Yeah.
No, I got the drumstick that Tyler Stewart had been using all show. It's got the nicks in it.
Yeah.
So I was like...
You put that up your ass every night, right?
You're damn right, Sadie. Are you kidding me? It's an extra something special. Mm-hmm. Knowing that he held it in his hand. His hand is that close to my ass. So then...
okay.
I did some quick calculations, and I was like, okay, it's Valentine's Day. I'm not going to go by myself. I'm not a big Valentine's Day guy, but still, I'm not going to... I didn't bring home $80
That's a nice
worth
venue,
of flowers.
though. The River Rock Casino?
Okay, cool. Tell me how nice it is.
Sorry.
Appreciate it. So then, it's like 5:30. The concert's at 8. I decided I'm not going to go, so I list the tickets on Ticketmaster to sell. And at 7:35, they sold. So I sold the tickets that I had like 25 minutes before the show.
Did you make a profit off them?
I think I lost like $40, but better than losing $200.
You should have upped the ticket sales.
No, it was 2.5 hours before the show. I'm not going to try and make a profit. I'm just trying to recoup my losses.
Someone would have bought that though.
I don't know if they would have.
Well, maybe that's why they sold so quick because you didn't.
Yeah. So, but anyways, so then Ticketmaster goes, "Oh, okay, you have to fill out a profile now that you've sold these." Or I have to link my bank account. So I have to link my bank account, and then it says in 5 to 7 business days, we're going to send you 2 small deposits. Enter the exact amounts in the order to verify it's the account. I do that.
Oh, I had to do that, remember?
Yeah, for PayPal.
Yeah, never followed up.
Then after that, they're like, okay, now that you've done that, we have to have a seller profile on you. They wanted my social insurance number.
Yeah, you're not because they thought you were. I think that's just a standard question because they think you're a scalper.
Well, no, apparently it's so for tax purposes. If you sell more than $600,
yeah,
I think it said.
Scalpers make a living off of that. That's why they want your social insurance number.
Yeah, this same website had a massive data leak like a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give them my fucking social insurance number. Get fucked.
You're not a ticket seller. They just assume that if you sold tickets, it's just probably a generic thing they say to people that sell.
So I didn't include it. And then I submitted that profile. And then I went online. I was like, do I really have to give it to him? Da-da-da-da. And the general consensus is if you give them your social insurance number, you'll get the money in 5 to 7 days. Everyone else that did not said they got it either 2 to 12 months later.
Oh.
So apparently Ticketmaster is going to pay me at some point in time. But that fucking website can absolutely go the way of the dodo.
Oh, they're horrible.
I fucking hate Ticketmaster.
Haven't they been like sued like a million times too?
Yeah, Congress was actually like bringing up, not charges on them, but bringing up a big investigation.
Yeah, why they charge that fee? What is that fee?
Post-COVID, that fee went up astronomically.
Yeah, it's like $80. It's more than some of the tickets you buy.
And then they have exclusivity rights on venues. So if an artist, a musician, whoever wants to use a specific venue and Ticketmaster has exclusivity, they have to use Ticketmaster or they can't use that venue.
That's criminal. That's entrapment. Also,
I don't think it's entrapment.
No, well, I swear to God, I bought them for a Canucks game after COVID, and I'm no joke, the fees were almost the same price as the fucking tickets to the game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's that for?
Anyways, I think the US has bigger issues now, so I think Ticketmaster is going like phew because they don't have to worry about that anymore.
No, those fees are lowered though.
Well, yeah, they're not
as high as they were before.
Once people started balking at them, they're like, okay, guys, maybe we flew too close to the sun here. Let's bring them down a bit.
They just made up a fee.
Yeah, that's just it, right? It's just a made up thing that a sliding scale of fees.
It used to be like
based on where their profit loss is at any time of year.
I remember when the fees were like $24, then they went to $45, and then after COVID they were like $89.
So it was $90 a fee for your tickets.
Yeah.
How much for your tickets to the Canucks game?
Like $120.
That's fucking insane.
It was. Everyone was like, "What is
like
this?"
An additional 75% just on ticket fees.
Yeah.
And for what, by the way?
I have no fucking idea.
Because you're not printing anything for me. Like they
don't even do anything. They get the tickets from someone else.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Cineplex. Cineplex has that bullshit $2.50 ticket fee now, unless you subscribe to their monthly thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, wait a minute, you have automatic kiosks and I buy through the app. What the fuck are you talking about?
Or what about Starbucks? Don't they charge like 5 cents for your cup?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And like, what? I'm paying for my cup now? You don't make enough money?
Yeah. See, I'm too... At that point, at 5 cents, I just don't fucking care. 5 cents, all right,
yeah,
whatever.
But think about that. They're just doing that to make more money. They do not need to charge for a cup.
Yeah, if you want to literally nickel and dime me, okay.
But they are doing that. But compound that to how many... That's 5 cents times a billion?
My point is, if I had a $200 ticket at Ticketmaster and the ticket fee was like $2, I'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah, but 79 after tax?
Yeah, no, go fucking kill yourself.
I
went to Our Lady Peace last night.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a great time. And I think the ticket fees on that were like $15. It wasn't bad.
What's his name? Rain
Maida.
Is he still heartthrob?
I think he's even a bigger heartthrob because they were playing. It's their 30th anniversary, and they were playing. First of all, the way the stage was set up and the way the show went was incredible.
Did he play clumsy?
He did.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was like you could just hear everyone slipping out of their seats.
Did they? Does he sound CD quality live?
I'm glad you asked.
No, then that's a no.
Well, it's 30 years later. He doesn't have the same
pipes.
Yeah, like this is not slandering this man at all because he was fucking incredible. But it does sound a little different live. His second song was Innocent, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this sounds a little... I think they were just really rambunctious, so they were kind of like missing it a little bit and stuff. And
they were off key?
Not off key, but not singing all the words, I guess.
Really?
Well, but like it was just like a lot of run around, great showmanship. Anyways, all that to say, the show was fucking incredible, but the way they had the stage set up was there was 3 screens, but they were vertical.
Oh, vertical.
And then on those screens, they had live cameras throughout the place of them and then of a crowd. But then...
I don't want to see myself on that fucking screen.
Well, you couldn't really single anyone out. And then it was like the pacing of the screens switching, and like they had all these different filters on it that made it look kind of cool and weird and fun.
Were you violently rubbing your crotch?
I was. And then it was just like this the pace at which everything moved on those screens, it felt very indicative of 2025. Like, in order to keep everyone's attention, you just had to assault their senses over and over and over and over and over again.
I don't like that. I'd rather not have that.
The screens were fine, but where it got a lot for me was some of the lights. Some of the lights. I thought I was going to have a seizure at one point.
Oh, shit.
Because we were 5th row, so we were right there, and like the entire lower part of the stage was all lights shining on the audience up above the stage. And I just had to close my eyes at one point. It was just like rapid assault on my...
Did you have a couple beers?
Yeah, I did. They were... that was another thing. The tipping on the beers at the venues, I don't know about that. It started at 15, then 18, then like 22%.
Yeah, you don't...
And I'm like, you're either cracking a can or pouring that. Like, maybe 10% seems fine. Like, I don't know. Like, what service are you offering me? I also went to Boston Pizza beforehand. Atrocious.
Your food?
Fucking... The food was fine. I got a small spicy pierogi pizza. Hadn't had it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking guy, our server came up at the beginning, asked for our orders. I got a beer. My wife got a gin and tonic. And we ordered a couple pizzas. Never saw him again.
For the whole time?
No, someone else dropped off the beer. Our pizzas came out a bit later. No one asked if I wanted another beer. It was like no one came back. And then there was this...
Was it busy?
No. Then they had this thing. Okay. They had this like thing on the table. It's I don't know. I think some places have this. It's like an electronic.
Oh yeah.
Card.
The screen.
Yeah. And then you can charge your phone and stuff. Well, it says if you want to pay your bill. So I clicked pay my bill, and then it said your server's been notified. Well, it just put a green light on the top of that thing. 8 minutes, no one came by. So then I got up and I went to some other server. I was like, hey, can we get a couple boxes in our bill, please?
Yeah.
And then someone else dropped off the boxes, and someone else brought the bill.
So you didn't tip this fucking guy?
I did.
What?
10.
Okay.
I tipped him 15.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if maybe he left and it was someone else's, and I felt bad, but...
I can't stand this piece of lint on the bottom of your foot.
Oh, sorry about that. I'll get that.
Get that fucking thing out of there.
All right, copy that. Was my foot in frame? Maybe I shouldn't have
No,
had that.
no, it's not.
Oh, it was like a hobbit foot. Yeah,
okay. So they saw that piece of pubic hair hanging off.
Probably. I think it's Dash's fur, but it could be pubis. I don't know.
It's jet black.
Who stayed in this room last? Adam? Yeah, it could be pubic hair.
You think he shaved his bush before he went to work?
I think he does. He's got to keep himself aerodynamic for when he's flying. He's going to fucking hate that I said that. He's a...
Don't say what he is.
He's my brother. Why can't I say what he is? He's a pilot.
He's a pilot. Yeah, not the airline, though.
Why not?
For Flair.
Yeah, he's a pilot for Flair. I think he would have offed himself if he was a pilot for Flair.
Well, they still have to be good.
Yeah, no, I just like the amount of bullshit that the customers deal with Flair. I would imagine is the same level of bullshit that you deal with as a pilot. I think
it's the amount of bullshit the customers cause.
I think it's a little bit. I think it's the company causing bullshit for employees and customers alike.
Oh.
This is an indictment on Flair Airlines. I will never fly with them.
I would never. Or, it's Flair. What's the one that's yellow? Is that Flair?
Maybe now.
No, there's another one.
There's a newer one or two, right? I don't know. Fuck
yeah, there's one
that's
that's
just not worth it. Like you save what, $30, but then you're it's not.
Everyone on the plane is a degenerate.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like you're on public transit.
They're called Airbuses, the planes, and it really does feel like a bus now.
Yeah,
where it's just no one has any sense of decorum or like, that you're in there with other people. It's just it reeks to high heaven half the time. People are just obnoxious. They don't give a shit. You know what pisses me off too is when someone's at the back of the plane and then the plane the seatbelt sign comes up and they just motor their way to the front like they're a fucking bull at a red flag.
Yeah.
Wait your turn.
I hate when people from that's gonna sound like I'm hoity-toity, but if you pay the extra for like premium economy,
yeah. And you hate when people use that bathroom?
Yeah, get the fuck out of this area.
Yeah, it's pretty hoity-toity. Someone's trying to take a leak, dude.
I paid for this.
You didn't pay for that bathroom. You paid for the service you get in your seat.
No, because it's a separate section, right?
Yeah. Look, I've always been against that, and then I actually...
Not even the bathroom. No, I don't care about the bathroom. When they walk around.
Yeah,
And I'm like, one time I was on this flight from England, and this guy was like, I guess he was bored, and he just kept walking up and down the aisles. And finally, the flight attendants were like, "You stop."
Yeah, no. Like if they got to use the bathroom, that's fine.
No, and then at one point he was just standing beside me right here, like going
with his dick out.
And he's not. He's sitting.
And he's
not even sitting anywhere near me.
Yeah, that okay. Well, that's just kind of at the concert last night. 5th row, and then the 4th row in front of us. Between the 3rd and 4th row, there was a gap, like a decent, like a walkway.
Oh, gap.
And then at one point in the concert, these two women just waltzed in front of the people in front of me and were hanging out in this gap area. And she was she was doing this. She was like dancing like one of those fucking dancers in Austin Powers in the cage.
Yeah.
The whole time. I mean, no, actually, that has nothing at the concert. When we sat down at the concert, I looked around and I went, everyone here is pretty old. Am I old? Like, it was one of those moments where I went, hang on a sec. Am I older than I think I am?
Oh,
but I think I'm just on the younger end of Our Lady Peace fans, because they've been around 30 years. I mean, their big album, what was it? I can't remember. Wait. Clumsy maybe came out when I was like 9.
Yeah, you're not old. They were popular in the early 90s.
It was very interesting to see, like, there were people there that probably weren't that much older than me, but there was a lot of mileage on them.
Oh, because they're all...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the woman next to my wife wouldn't shut the hell up. And as soon as you started talking to my wife, I turned my body, like, away because I didn't want to get... You're going to sneeze? Science.
Sorry.
I'm not going to say bless you, because what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, because your heart stops.
What?
Apparently when you sneeze, your heart stops really quickly.
Okay. I thought people said bless you because they used to think that your soul could escape your body when you sneezed.
I don't know.
Google it. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. There's that pubic hair lint. There's that pubic hair lint on your foot.
It didn't fly up to you.
Okay. Why do people say bless you when you sneeze?
Yeah, Google that for me. Anyways, I don't know what it is about my face that tells people to talk to me. I don't love it, though. The guy in front of us turned around, too, and just started chatting us. And I know I sound like a fucking asshole, and I am. That's true. But I just, I'm not engaging with you. Why are you going out of your way to engage with me? It's not like I dropped something and then...
You're right. It's a fucking soul expelling from your body. Yeah, sneezing was often an early symptom of the plague, and it was believed that the soul could be expelled from the body during a sneeze. To counteract this, people would say, bless you, to safeguard the sneezer's soul.
Yeah, it's not because your heart stops. If anything, me saying science is better, because that's more about your biology than a fucking... First of all, if souls are a thing, I doubt you have anything left. That's a good question. If you think souls are a thing, do you think that they're just there in people, or do you think that they could be eroded over time with negativity or murder?
Wait, what?
What are you looking at now? Get off Grindr.
Yeah, okay. Wait.
Now what?
There's different
like a child
things.
You are.
There's different
reasons
behind it.
Yeah, there usually is. But the top one, we'll go with that. We'll go with the top answer. So, do you think people have souls?
I don't know.
Okay, let's say we think they do. Now, do you think that souls can be? Do you think it's a state and then it remains that state, or do you think that a soul could potentially be eroded over time with like things like being negative or killing someone?
What? No.
So you think a soul is just a soul?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have some type of aura, I think.
Do you?
You must.
Okay.
A human being?
Yeah. I guess just what's different from us and say a bear, besides the fact that we have...
A bear also has some sort of...
Okay. So
it's a living species.
You think that any living thing...
Yeah.
Well, what about microorganisms?
Yeah.
What about each individual cell has a
how
soul?
are they created?
What do you mean, how are they created?
Well, I mean, there's got to be something behind everything.
Evolution.
Yeah. What?
Evolution. Do you think there was a divine creator?
Our Lord and Savior?
Well, I don't know about that, but do you think that some kind of being created all of this?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And I think if they did, they'd have to be kind of an asshole.
Oh, because they have control over it all? They don't have control, though. It was just created and then they leave you to your own devices.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of like abandoning a child?
No, that's the gift we got to do whatever we want.
No, you're talking about free will. I'm talking about creation to begin.
Well, no, even if it was creation, why would you want to be controlled by anybody?
Well, no, I'm just saying like...
Isn't that worse?
But as if they created organisms, didn't they also create all of the shitty parts of that?
Yeah, but...
So why would they do that?
If everything was always great, it wouldn't be fun.
If everything was always great, it wouldn't be fun. Right, but then like, why does a kid get cancer?
That's just the tricks of the trade.
Luck of the draw?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is what I don't love about most religions. Pretty much all religions is like all these loopholes, all of these all this bullshit.
If no one got cancer or had any type of hardship, then what?
Well, a cancer and hardship are two different things, I think.
Well, I'm just saying that's just an example. I'm saying if everything was awesome all the time, you'd be like, "What's okay?"
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
You got to have some sort of bad times, and then that makes the good times better.
Sure. I just think that a kid dying of cancer is a pretty finite bow on that. So it's not like
they can avoid. They'd omit that one.
Yeah, I think there's a few things.
Yeah, give them a shot at least.
Yeah, that's just why I don't like. And then everyone's like,
"Well, the 2-year-old kid gets cancer. He doesn't even have a chance at
there's grace and suffering and all that bullshit." I'm like, there can be. I'm not. There can be grace and suffering. I just don't think that you need to bend the knee to some figure in the sky and thank him, her, or whatever for, I don't know, your dad getting hit by a car. Oh, free will.
Well, I got hit by a car.
There's a grand plan. And you know what? I get it. It would be nice.
Getting hit by a car wasn't also planned, and it wasn't also avoided.
But isn't there? But okay, well, I shouldn't. There's some religions that go like, well, it's a grand plan, a master plan that we can't understand right now.
No, that's not a plan. It's just odds and factors behind why you got hit by a car.
Right, I'm just talking about some religions do believe that there's
I don't agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
It's not some divine plan that he's...
Here's the one thing I will say.
The angels needed him or something like that?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to have that kind of faith because it would make things a little easier to digest. Or
that's why that exists.
Yeah. To just allow people some kind of...
It's a crutch.
To try to... Well, I don't know if it's a crutch. No, I'm kidding. But to make sense of a senseless world, I guess, or to at least attempt to.
Yeah, purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose.
I think people's purpose should be to fucking...
Purpose.
Just don't... Do what you want, harm no one.
Purpose.
Don't be a dick. Make sure that you compost correctly.
Don't put plastic bags in the compost.
And if you bought a seat at an Our Lady Peace concert, dance at your fucking seat. Don't jump in front of other people and start waving your arms in the air.
And if you do, you should be hit by a car on the way home.
Or at the very least, tased. Do you know what I mean? Like, this really pissed me off with this one woman because... You had a seat like 20 seats down. You bought that seat. I'm sorry you didn't get the seat because the guy in front of me, I could tell he was fucking choked.
Yeah.
And I would be too. If I was that guy, I would have gone up to her and been like, "Excuse me, over there, please get the."
That's when the
one woman
be like, "You don't sit here."
One woman did get up and was like I thought they were gonna get like in a fist fight. She shoved her. She was like, "Get the fuck out!" Because she was dancing in front of her. She's like, "Get the fuck out!" Like down.
Yeah.
And then she shuffled down.
Yeah.
But I was just like, "What are
you thinking?
You're so fucking arrogant. You're so entitled. Everything's about you. You're the center of attention. I'm sorry that you weren't loved as a child, but why are you making that our problem?"
Yeah.
Now?
And get in a grave.
100% get in a grave. There's just so many people that I feel like if you're that self-entitled, like I'm an asshole, but I do generally try to make sure that I'm not interfering with other people's
But I don't
lives.
like right away I would be like, someone's going to be mad about this. That's the main thing about them is they don't even acknowledge that someone's going to be upset of their actions.
Yeah, consideration.
Yes, no one has consideration anymore.
It was so fucking annoying. And then so Collective Soul opened for OLP.
Oh, yeah, Collective Soul. Don't even know who that is.
Yeah, they had a couple hits in the 90s.
What was the hit?
I don't remember what they're called now, but when they played it, I recognized it. Open up Spotify or something.
Yeah, Collective
Soul. Here's the thing about Collective Soul, though, last night. They were great. They went on way too fucking long. Like, at one point, I went, is this a Collective Soul concert? They went on for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Wait, what?
That's way too much.
Collective Soul Greatest Hits.
No, go to Spotify and you can see which ones they're top played.
Shine by Collective Soul.
Yeah.
I've never even fucking heard of these people.
No, you'll recognize the song. It got a lot of radio play.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have the rights to this. Turn it off. We don't have the rights to this. Turn it off.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I know that song. Yeah, fuck, those guys suck.
They were great performers.
Did he still have long hair?
Yeah. The lead singer, he kind of spooked me.
Died on stage?
He spooked me a little.
And you said, what was his plan?
He kept moving kind of like that lady that was dancing in front of us later on, but in a weird, not grotesque, but like
grotesque,
like Baron Samedi from GoldenEye, like a weird kind of like fluid motion.
Yeah.
And then he kept calling the audience the congregation. I did not like that.
That's weird.
It was bizarre. It was fucking odd.
So he's found religion.
Well, here's the thing. We checked into our hotel before the concert.
He was there?
Yeah.
No, wait, they stayed in your hotel?
We checked into the hotel before the concert, and this lady was talking to this guy with long hair, and then I kind of overheard a bit. Deanna heard a bit more. She's like, I think that guy is like part of a band. I went, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Then we get out of the elevator.
Was it the lead singer?
Yeah, we get out of the elevator, and this guy with the long hair is there, and we kind of do that weird thing. We're like scooting around each other, and he seemed totally normal.
Yeah.
And then we go to Boston Pizza. That's a terrible thing. And we get to the concert, and then Collective Soul comes out, and that fucking guy from the elevator just grabs the mic and starts doing his thing. And I went, geez, you just never know who you're going to run into.
He stayed at your hotel?
Yeah.
Was it a nice hotel?
It was fine, but it wasn't anything to write home about.
Was it a Collective Soul hotel?
It was a coastal hotel in Abbotsford. I was like, this guy could have just stayed on a tour bus, I think. It would probably been nicer.
No, they want to stay in a hotel.
Brother, you can tell when a hotel isn't that up to snuff based on the buttons for the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it said call car on it.
Yeah.
That's like a 70s, 80s reference. So they basically...
Oh, I thought that was a newer hotel. What hotel did you fucking stay at?
The Coastal Abbotsford. It looks...
Where was the fucking concert?
The Abbotsford Entertainment Center or whatever.
Oh,
it's like
I thought
20-minute
it was in Langley.
No, it was like a 20-minute walk. So... you could just tell that like this is a newer hotel in terms of the signage, but they'd repurposed old, like the elevator, for example.
Yeah.
You opened it up, it had like kitchen lino on the sides of it, and then it had pieces of paper saying you got to deal at Famoso and Ricky's.
Oh, fuck.
And then it had another door. You know those
Ricky's?
You know those elevators where the door opens, they have another door on the other side.
Yeah.
That door on the other side.
That's for the staff.
Well, that door on the other side just had a sign on it that says, "Please do not lean, may open."
Okay.
Like
that Coastal's...
It wasn't. And it was pretty pricey. I booked the hotel back in September, and it was like $230 for a night.
For Coastal Abbotsford?
Yeah.
Oh, they hired it because they knew there was a concert, probably.
I mean, maybe. I got the ticket. Yeah, maybe.
Did you walk to the fucking concert, too?
No, I got an Uber to the concert, and then afterwards tried to get an Uber. It was going to be like $15 and a 25-minute wait, and it was a 20-minute walk back to the hotel. So on the way to the concert, it was pissing rain out, but on the way back, there was no rain, so we just walked.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, walked, and then I finished my spicy pierogi pizza, and I got an 8-pack of PBRs before the show that I had waiting for me in the mini fridge.
Oh yeah, how many did you have before bed?
2.
Nice.
That's why we're drinking PBRs now. These are from the BCL in the Coastal Abbotsford Hotel parking lot.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, classic PBR.
I have to piss so bad right now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Could be your coffee.
I think it's
the
the coffee. Yeah.
Well, what were we at?
I don't know.
Yeah, we could.
What are we at?
We're at 58 minutes.
Oh no, we have to go to an hour.
Okay, first couple minutes. We got another 5 minutes. Is there anything else that's been bothering you? Anything you've been trudging about? I talked about my hospital stay. I talked about my car a bit, but that's an ongoing thing.
You've talked about your car several times on this show.
I don't think so. The problem started at Christmas. We've only done one episode.
You fucking talked about it.
Okay.
Driving pisses me off.
Yeah, you talked about that already. I'll talk about my car a bit.
Yeah, talk about your car. But wait. When it rains in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, drivers don't even know what they're doing.
It is this bizarre thing, especially growing up in Alberta, because like in Alberta, you're used to black ice. You're used to driving carefully.
Black ice, great beer.
Because of all the ice on the I'm just getting it fresh in. Because of all the ice on the road. So you're kind of used to driving carefully, but it's not that bad. Here, I don't know what it is about rain that everyone all of a sudden kind of just freaks the fuck out about.
Oh, good call on re-upping.
I mean, it's not like a torrential downpour or anything, but you're right. Everyone drives like 10, 15 kilometers
Another
under.
thing is it turning. When it's raining out, there's a car in front of you, and the light's green, and he's turning, and he turns like less than a kilometer an hour like he's a goddamn fucking 747 plane on the tarmac.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, you don't want to be taking turns at 60 in the rain. But you could also take them faster
we were
than
at
5.
a stop. We were at a stop.
Yeah.
And then the light turns and he's got to turn right and he's literally wasting everyone. It takes him 20 seconds to turn right on a green light. Like go fuck yourself.
And like I understand elderly people.
No, this was a normal fucking 40-year-old man.
A lot of times I find that elderly people drive quite slowly. And I get it. You know, your senses have slowed down a bit. You want to be extra cautious. Also, you don't want to be dying before your time, and you realize that time is going to be coming up quicker than it was 10 years ago.
I'm fine with that. If I see the driver and I realize...
I'm not, though, because here's the thing.
Oh, don't drive a car?
Well, it's just like, if anything, old people should drive faster because they have less time.
Okay, but fast forward you old, and you're on the road. Can you imagine, like, You don't want to not drive just because you got old. You probably still think you're fucking 20, even when you're 70.
I don't, but I do think, or I'd like to think that if I'm 70 years old,
aren't you scared of becoming old like those old people?
Here's I think the thing that scares me about old age the most is looking back on my life and realizing that it was just wasted potential.
I'm just scared about having like hair longer than your head hair coming out of your ears, and you're just sitting at a coffee shop staring at the fucking wall.
Man, AI will take care of that. It'll be like a laser, like done, no problem. The thing about getting old for me is that if I realized that, like, if it was a 60 and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable driving faster than 50, I'd like to think I'd have the self-awareness to go, well, I either have to go the speed limit or it's time to hang up the keys.
But see, why would you ever want to do that?
Well, I don't, but it's just like, that's just...
I'm sure that old man wants to still think he can fucking drive a car.
Great. I love that he still thinks he can. It's fine, but I'm just saying, like, have some self-awareness. Maybe it's time to get an Uber from now on. Do you know what I mean?
What if he's on a very fixed income?
If he's on a fixed income, what kind of car? How's he driving a car? Sell the car and use that for your Uber fund.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think at that age, I'd rather take an Uber anyways.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why stress? You don't want to stress.
He still wants the spark. He's still thinking of his 67 Charger he had where he waxed it every day.
Or you just walk, right? Because if you walk, the thing about when you start to get old, like when you start to like slow down and do a lot more sitting, it's an active sign to your body, like biologically, that you're ready to die. That's why they're always like, if you're 40, think about the quality of life you want when you're 70, and then kind of have a game plan now for that in terms of like just keeping yourself active.
Don't drink 4 beers a day?
No. Well, okay, let's not get carried away here. Okay. I'm just saying, like, you got to keep yourself active. You got to keep yourself moving, and then your body's going to go, okay, we're still doing this thing. But the second you start to slow down, like you're just vegging out on TV 8 hours a day, your body's like, I guess it's time to cash it in. We're going to start taking some systems offline.
Oh, put a plug in it.
My car, though.
Wake up dead?
Speaking of my car again, you said I talked about it. You've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've talked about it on here.
You have.
I've become like a mechanic now.
Yeah.
I had to pull the fuse on my rear wiper blade. I had to get a Raffi sweetheart to pull the motor on it.
I guarantee you've said the story before Christmas.
All right. Yeah, before Christmas, but this is all post Christmas.
Okay, it's the same thing?
No, before Christmas I didn't know there was a problem. I got back from Christmas and my car was dead.
I think we talked about the fuse problem in your car.
Okay, well,
now I'm trudging about this.
It's something that's really bothering me because the last thing I want to do is get a new car, and I just don't like when my shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to, like, if I have to
it's in the back of your mind all the time.
If I have to pay for it to get it fixed, that's fine, whatever I got to do, but not knowing what the problem is to get fixed, that causes me real stress.
Yeah.
And then you know what's going to happen? I end up back in the fucking hospital.
Good.
That's the other thing. They're like, do you have any stress? I go, yeah. They're like, okay, try not to have stress. You're like that.
Thank you, Doc. Great diagnosis. They should tell him to write that down on the pad.
That causes me stress. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, okay.
Is that my prescription? Less stress?
Do you recommend a squeeze ball? Why do you think? So hang on a sec. Don't stress, but then don't have any beers or nicotine or coffee or fun.
Say, should I become a killer?
I mean, I've thought about it.
You need a new hobby.
I've thought of it. I was thinking this at the conference or the concert actually. I feel like everyone should get one free kill a year.
No, that's
But you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm open to it because maybe I'm someone's.
What?
You can't outsource it. No outsourcing here. You got to get your hands dirty. And then you get one a year. So you don't want to use it in January. You want to try maybe stretch it out a bit. But I do feel like everyone should get one.
I already know who I'd kill.
See what I mean? Everyone's got an idea. Everyone, as soon as I said that, you went, yeah, this guy.
Okay, that being said, I got to piss so bad.
Do you want to say who you want to kill first?
No, I'm not saying that.
Just someone I know?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me when the mic's off.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, give me a hint.
You've met him.
That's a him. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us for an hour. We love you, and keep trudging. We'll see you soon.
I'm pissing. I gotta piss so bad. Always wipe front to back. I'm gonna wipe front to back
after you piss.
After I piss.
Great stuff. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.